had conversations with people in the past few days, which are a bit of a concern to me. We've all had experiences with sexual abuse. We have either experienced sexual abuse as a child or we've experienced sexual abuse as adults. But one way or another, we have experienced sexual abuse. And the other day I was having a conversation with someone, and this person was telling me how they really hope that Biden wins.
Remember, Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
And I am not a person to be in politics. I've never trusted politics. So I've always seen politics as a game. I've never taken a side. I've never voted.
And this is another instance where I'll be following my own advice.
I don't believe that politicians are put in place by the power of the people. I believe that money puts politicians in place. The history that I've learned throughout these past few years that I've been researching more and more tells me that money has won over the betterment of humanity. You know, money is always above humanity. It doesn't matter how many people are killed. It doesn't matter how many people starve to death. It doesn't matter how many wars we go to. Money has been greater than humanity, always, since I was born. I just don't want the same world for my grandchildren. It pains me to think that my grandchildren are going to live in a world that has the value system placed as monetary status, because without money you can't get education. So if you can't become educated, you can't survive in our current capitalist system. You know, it's very difficult for someone who has knowledge and is not a degree holding individual to become successful in our world. And I can't say our country because it's throughout the world. It's the capitalist system runs the world. It doesn't just run the US. Like, do you really want the same world for your grandkids, like, and experience the same things? And I personally, I don't. I want my grandchildren to be happy, to wake up and actually love opening their eyes and knowing that shit, I'm gonna get to do what I love to do. You know, not a lot of people in this world can say that. A lot of us wake up and as soon as we open our eyes, we say, oh shit, it's time to go for us to go back to work. You know, damn, I gotta deal with my supervisor again. And I know this because I lived it. I don't want to emit that frequency of not wanting to be here because I love life. I have learned to love life even more. It's right in your face. In every movie that you see, Monsters Inc., when they're scaring the shit out of kids in the middle of the night and storing their screams, that's how they make adrenochrome. That's basically, they torture the children and they terrify them and they bleed them to death. And the adrenaline that is rushing in, the hormone that is rushing into our bloodstream when we're in fear, that is apparently the best high ever. And I'm sorry, I love smoking weed. I have done shrooms, but I will never think about killing another human just to get high. Like, that is seriously sick. And a lot of you are ignoring this problem. And I will tell you from personal experience,
Ignoring the problem will not make it go away.
I woke up this morning and they said something about the coronavirus cases are going up. How many days of rioting have we had? When coronavirus first hit, it took a week for people to start getting sick. This is the New York Times, by the way, which is a reputable newspaper. I don't believe the New York Times has the best interest in mind for us. I believe the New York Times is more focused on the perception of the rich and how to make everyone that's awakening, how to make them look bad, because that's what they've done throughout the years. And I will again say the conspiracy theory label was created by the CIA, because years ago a lot of people were learning about aliens
which, by the way, it's another truth that has been hidden from us for decades. Aliens are real. There have been already articles out there where the US government has told us that UFOs are real. I do believe that the whole chaos of the world and the whole fear that they're instilling on humanity is gonna come about again when they bring forth these alien beings that they have been hiding from us. Doing research, and there's villages underground where they're harvesting humans for organs. They grow humans in a petri dish. They have been creating hybrids of humans and aliens because we as a whole derive from alien beings. Not a lot of people are willing to accept this information. So our government has had this information for decades. The government has had programs where they have people, it's called remote viewing. They're psychic individuals because as human beings, our mind is powerful. So they have these individuals that are capable of telekinesis. They are capable. So remote viewing is seeing things without being there. Our mind is so beautiful and so powerful. Our mind is able to construct our reality. Our government knows this. And this is the reason why for them, killing and sacrificing a kid might not even be. They know that we're just frequencies. In the end, me as a person that loves other people, I don't want to hurt others. You know, I'm a very passive. I don't condone violence. That was one of my arguments with the riots. The riots were agitated by those in control. They wanted to get the reaction from the public. And because the general population is not aware or willing to ignore the issue, a lot of us that know the truth are shamed because we're different. And I've always said, our differences are what makes us beautiful. Our world would not be if we weren't created to be different. Because that's the whole point of the world, for us to have different perspectives so that we can learn the planet as a whole. You know, not everyone is right and not everyone is supposed to be right. That's the whole beauty of life. We're all supposed to have different perspectives, different experiences. I love black men. And I was talking to a dude a few days ago who said he's scared when cops are behind him. This is a guy who's 6'3", who you, by perception, would never think that he would be scared of anything. It breaks my fucking heart because my reaction to cops is completely different. And so it just gives you an idea of how beautiful different perspectives are. And being that we've known that everyone has a different perspective, we have to learn to respect each of our perspectives. Whether we know the information that I know, whether you don't, I still love you because without you, we wouldn't be. We wouldn't have a necessity to experience life without having the differences between each other. The movement that's going on right now, the Black Lives Matter movement, I agree with unity. I totally 100%, I want our whole planet to unify. I want us to learn the truth, and I want us to be mentally strong enough to understand and process our emotions without getting caught up in them. That's what I want. I would want for the world to be in peace and to learn to accept others' realities. A few weeks ago, there was an argument with one of the people I live with, and this individual is very defensive. They don't like to be told the truth. A lot of people don't like the truth when it doesn't benefit them. So this individual got upset, a few words were exchanged, and he got in my face. And I had just woken up. This is something that I'm not very proud of because I'm not a violent person. But he got in my face and he started screaming and I pushed him. This person decided that it was okay for him to throw dirty mop water. He threw it on me. and I had just woken up. I can tell you that I was shaking. I was so angry. I was crying. I'm the person that I don't like violence. I know that there's a self-defense mechanism. I have been in situations where I had to take knives out at people, but I have never been in a situation where I knew myself I was embarrassed by my reaction, because I should have never given him the power that he had in that moment. And so that's something that when we were speaking about the riots and the agitators, and people were telling me, violence is necessary at times, self-defense is necessary. I understand self-defense is necessary, but these people are there to agitate us because they want us to give out energies, and they are the same frequencies that are emitted by those children as they're being tortured. The human race was created out of love and compassion. Love is the universal language. I read The Alchemist finally a few weeks ago, and I know people that have read that book since they were kids. I love the person they are. And if you haven't read The Alchemist, I suggest you read it, because we have been taught everything wrong. The survival of the fittest theory, it was said differently. You get rid of the weaker link, but you're not supposed to only survive when you're the strongest, because not everyone is going to be the strongest. We all have low times, and it's okay. That's the whole cycle of life. We're supposed to learn from our emotions. Trauma on its own cannot be healed unless you go back and you deal with the emotions that come with those memories, because the emotions is what connects us as human beings. Everyone has had a different experience, but each and every one of our experience has emanated an emotion, and each human being in this experience that emotion at some point or another. Regardless of the experience, the emotion is what connects us, and those in control want you to keep ignoring your emotions because they know that's what connects us, and they don't want us connected. They want us divided. That's why they created the racial divide. You're one of those people that still believe that politics, and what popular politics, I mean democratic politics, Republican politics, if you're one of those people that are still caught up in the politics of the world, please learn to look more towards what benefits humanity. Because once you start looking at what benefits humanity as a whole, you'll realize that the politicians that have been in power for so many years now have not had humanity's benefit in mind. They've only thought about money. Think about it. Every U.S. president that has been in power in the past has become rich after being the U.S. president. To say again that I did not like Donald Trump. I used to categorize him with the 1%, which includes Rockefeller, includes Rothschilds, the 13 families around the world. I used to categorize him with them, and I realized that a lot of people don't like him because he's running the country as a business, and because the way that he's running the country is different from how people ran it before. But you have to understand that people that have ran the country before are liars. They are satanic worshiping, child molesting murderers, because these people have been trained since childhood. Whether you want to believe this or not, these people have been trained since childhood. Maybe they're in the MK Ultra program, maybe they're not, but they've been trained since childhood. So to them, when it's time for them to be president, it's just they're part of the scene of that specific time period. That's it. But it's crazy how a lot of the population you guys don't even want to look. You don't want to even do the research. You go on the TV and you listen to CNN, and that's your truth. These people are liars. Learn to look through the lies.
Thank you for listening. And remember, the day we learn to coexist in true harmony
will we find the happiness we all desire.